you've just discovered Spielberg's raptor. Paleontologist Robert Bakker's phone call to his colleague Jim Kirkland in 1991 was about a huge discovery. Kirkland discovered fossils of a gigantic newly discovered raptor while digging in Gaston Quarry, in Grant County, Utah. The terrible creature would have been around 20 feet long and 6 feet tall from snout to tail, with long, curved, razor-sharp claws, extending nearly a foot in length, on each foot. Bakker was consulting with some of Steven Spielberg's impending Jurassic Park dinosaur illustrators at the time, and he had a dilemma. The movie's velociraptors were supposed to be 3 times the size of Kirkland's soon-to-be-named Utah raptor. In paleontology, Robert Bakker is a well-known individual. Tim mentions a book by a guy named Bakker in the first Jurassic Park film, and he's even addressed by name.
There's this other book by a guy named Bakker, and he says the dinosaurs died of a bunch of diseases. He definitely didn't say that.
Bakker also appeared in a 1994 Jurassic Park computer game, and inspired the character Robert Bakker, in the Lost World Jurassic Park, who was a bearded paleontologist who was eaten by a T-Rex. Meanwhile, Jim Kirkland is a paleontology legend in his own right. He's been working in the field for almost 40 years, and has been involved in the discovery and naming of a remarkable 26 new dinosaurs. Despite focusing on armored dinosaurs like Gastonia, Kirkland's most famous discovery is the Utah raptor, which became famous in 1993, when it supported Spielberg's extravagant vision. Paleontologist Jim Jensen discovered the first pieces of Utah raptor in 1975. But they were too fragmentary to identify. Kirkland, along with Robert Gaston and Donald Berg, didn't properly uncover Utah raptor until 1991, during a dig funded by the Prehistoric Museum. Kirkland claims he got the notion to name his discovery after Spielberg, after attending the meeting of the Dinosaur Club. It would be known as Utahraptor spielbergi, with Utahraptor as the genus name, and Spielbergi as the species name. Kirkland claims that the moniker came about as a result of plain old-fashioned PR. He claims that showmanship is not a bad thing. He always conveyed that to new scientists. They must figure out how to get funds for their organization. Why not name the dinosaur after the filmmaker? Because Jurassic Park was bound to be a tremendous hit. After all, Spielberg, and special makeup effects legend Stan Winston, did unintentionally foreshadow the existence of the colossal dinosaur. Prop veteran Jurassic, in the Jurassic Park film team, was actually asking for Velociraptor to remain the same size as it was in the novel, which, again, was actually the size of Deinonychus. Jurassic and Shannon Chu are the 2 known dinosaur experts, in Stan Winston's shop. Though it was up to them a lot of the time, to try to keep things as realistic as possible. Jurassic's realism probably won out about 60% of the time, but one of the times it didn't, was when it came to the Velociraptor's size. Even though Jurassic was consulting with Bakker, and that paleontologist Jack Horner was the film's credited consultant, Jurassic reveals that contrary to popular belief, they never had one paleontologist in their studio, not even Horner, until the dinosaurs were well under construction. By the time Utahraptor made headlines in the summer of 1992, the movie was also in the works. Newspapers all throughout the country ran stories about how this new dinosaur vindicated Spielberg's gigantic raptor, helping to generate anticipation for a film that was still a year away. It wasn't like the raptors' names were going to be changed in the movie. It was too late. And Velociraptor just sounded better, according to Rose Ingrant, which is likely why Crichton chose Velociraptor over Deinonychus in the first place. Utahraptor has gotten a lot of attention because of its connection to the upcoming film. Kirkland was confident that once it was formally named after Spielberg, it would attract more attention. However, naming the new dinosaur after the director ran into difficulties, just weeks before Kirkland's paper describing the dinosaur was due to be published. Kirkland was working for Dynamation at the time, a now defunct company that created animatronic dinosaurs, as well as funding paleontological research. Kirkland recalls being summoned to his boss's office at Dynamation, with less than 2 weeks to publication, and told that he got to change the name. Kirkland was taken aback when he found that Universal Studios had threatened to sue museums that had exhibitions with the word Jurassic in the title. So, because of these lawsuits, corporate headquarters determined he can't name this after Spielberg just now. Many of Dynamation's clients were museums. After all, if they appeared to support Universal, the latest foe of museums in the name of American-style business, it wouldn't look good. Kirkland adds that he wasn't happy with the decision, but he didn't have a choice. The Price Museum had already printed hundreds of T-shirts with the words Utahraptor Spielbergi, but it didn't matter. Instead, Kirkland gave the dinosaur the name Utahraptor Ostrom Macy, in honor of Deinonychus discoverer John Ostrom, and Dynamation president Chris Mays. It was reported at the time that the name change was due to another reason. According to Utah's Deseret News, Spielberg was supposed to get the dinosaur named after him, in exchange for sponsoring dinosaur research in Utah. But Kirkland changed his mind when the funding didn't come through. Kirkland claims he was misquoted, and instead credits Spielberg with advancing paleontology by founding the Jurassic Foundation, a significant sponsor for the field. Just a few months after Kirkland had to rename Utahraptor in recognition of Spielberg's Jurassic Park, a dinosaur was named after the actors in the movie. Paleontologist Dong Ziming discovered Tankysaurus Nidagoapephri Ma, a small ankylosaur in China. The name, Nidagoapephri Ma, is a combination of the first 2 letters of each of the main characters in Jurassic Park, Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and so on, and it's even been said that Spielberg came up with the idea, thanks to his support of Chinese paleontological digs. While the name, Tankysaurus Nidagoapephri Ma, may not have the same ring to it as Utahraptor Spielbergi, it's a decent consolation prize for Spielberg, who has subsequently inspired evergreen interest in paleontology, thanks to his ageless film. Although Kirkland would have loved to name Utahraptor after Spielberg, his raptor has become well known in its own right, and dinosaur fans such as myself are familiar with it. Let us know what do you think about it in the comments section. Thanks for watching.